Inside 148, many societies around the world have been exposed and ingrained in much incorrect thinking about sex. I find it necessary to be very blunt. My bluntness at many instances might remind you of certain sexual instances which we are trying to avoid. Nonetheless, they must be covered because of the oceanic depth of incorrect thinking that many people have been exposed to from various sources. These people must look at sexuality head on, demystify it, and free themselves from any and all of its negative influences. All right, so
Filming yourself? It's a good idea.
thank you. Right, so while we're trying to be blunt here, so we had talked about a long time ago about how we have here we're dealing with incorrect information, manipulative, right? Highly very powerful, which we are trying to avoid. But it's hooked in the mind, so you cannot avoid it. As try as you might, I would say I'm going to guess 1% of the population can avoid it and get along with other things in life. But still, the mind is hooked. And all it takes is for them to accidentally view something or see something, or it's possible for them to go back to engaging in this negative activity. So, what I say is face it and look at it honestly and demystify it. Learn it, figure it totally out so it's no longer a puzzle to you, and therefore this is the winning move. And as you're doing this, as you're trying to figure out how to solve this problem, how to understand it, you might sometimes fall into, or many times fall into, sexual pleasure and get involved in self-pleasure, or trying to get involved in sexual activities and this and that. I would recommend not getting involved in sexual activities, but if you want to self-pleasure, okay, that is the best thing. The lesser of the negativities. All right, so when you get into this, you're trying to solve it, and you fall sometimes into pleasure, but this is the only way in to the solution, and that's all right. Somebody might say, no, I don't want to focus on this trying to solve it because I get sexual when I try to solve it. Well, there's no other way to solve it. You have to try to solve it. And a simple example of that would be, let's say you're in the shower and you're dirty. You were outside, you got some mud on yourself. You got some mud on your face, okay? You got some mud on your face. How are you going to wash it? You get some soap, and you actually have to physically touch it. Get the mud off. You can't get the mud off without touching it. Generally this is how you have to do it. Something has to touch the mud to get it off, and you do it. You wash it and you get it off. So this is how to cleanse it. You're not going to say, oh, I'm not going to touch the mud because I'm trying to avoid the mud. So why would I touch the mud to cleanse myself? Well, there's no other way to clean it. You have to clean it. You take the soap and you wipe it off, and then you wash your hands and you wash here. This is how you get it off. That's what we're doing here, okay? somebody incorrectly might say, oh no, you want to avoid the mud, so don't touch it. That would be the wrong thing to do. No, that's just an incorrect way of thinking. It's the same with sexual misinformation. If somebody says, oh, don't try to solve it by focusing on how it works and you might fall into self-pleasure, this is clearly not the right way because you're trying to avoid self-pleasure and avoid sexual pleasure and all this stuff. So obviously you don't have to focus on it. No, this is wrong. You need to focus on it, learn it for what it really is, and solve it. Therefore, it has no power. Like right now, for me, it's irrelevant. Somebody tries to influence me. If I see a sexual program and they're using if they're using some kind of manipulative method, it is so obvious to me. It has no effect because I understand what they're doing. It's like I'm so aware of it. Good. Let's see if I get that. Okay, so under Insight 148, there is example M2, fear of the Lord misinterpreted, and I one time recorded something about it, and so I'm gonna put that I'm gonna give that in a audio format for you without the visual, so you could hear what I said. It refers to the word must, M-U-S-T, when I said these people must look at sexuality head on. I explained that.